So you're there, Chase, huh?
Yes, I am. I was late on the first call, so I had to be early on the second one.
I had a crazy economics professor that loved it when I was not professor, teacher in high school. He says, okay, if you come late to class, you have to leave early.
Did you guys end up leaving early?
Well, J.P. Green was one of those really good teachers you have. He had a sense of humor, and so it was nobody ever challenged him on it. So it was good.
Oh, that's funny. Where did you go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind anything. I went to Central High School. It was run by the U.S. Air Force in London, England.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't a military school. It was a regular American high school, but it was for all the expatriates, all of the foreign service families, all of the military, Air Force, Army, anything else. And so my father was in the Air Force, so I got to go there. And
wow.
We had people, most everybody came from a half a mile away, not a half a mile, at least an hour drive to get into the school. So,
wow.
But we had to have that in order to have at the time, our transcripts so they could transfer to a regular high school. How you doing, Hayden?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm not so bad.
Good.
I love how you have that fan above your head, and it looks like you have a little twirly thing on top of your head.
Center it just like that.
That's cool.
That's right.
So we got Justin. There's Justin. You guys all have your COVID beards.
That's right. The barber's closed.
Yeah. That's good. So we got Justin, and we got a picture of you, Chase, or you incognito?
Oh, I can pull up the picture. Hold on. Yep, no beard. Sorry to disappoint.
So here's a question for you. If everybody, you all know what going incognito means, right? Incognito.
Yeah, like untraceable or such.
Yeah. Can you go cognito?
Huh. Does that mean visible? I wonder.
Yeah, it's like cognitive, right? It's the same word.
So we're all appearing cognito.
Cognito.
Right.
Huh. I don't know what that is.
We got Josh here.
How's it going, guys?
I got it. Hey, Hayden, who's the head of your group?
Let me tell you, is it Milton?
Milton.
Hey, Jen.
Hey guys.
Jenny B.
Hey.
Fancy seeing you here. And let's see, Justin, let's see, you are which team? Oh, you're Aries, right?
Yes, sir.
Who's your team captain?
Diana Lopez.
Diana. And Chase, who's yours?
We didn't really talk about that too much, but it's practically Sarah. She's pretty much organized it and led it. So Sarah.
Okay, that was your first task. Josh, what are you guys? Let's see. You are with
We're Athena. Courtney is our team leader. Me and Jenny are on the team with her.
Yeah. And you've got Anna and Brenley as well.
Right.
Okay. So Diana, you're the team leader?
Diana's muted right now.
Yeah. Oh, Diana. Yeah, so the team leader. Okay. She's shy.
For the win.
And Tanner, let's see. You are in Hera. Who's your team
Yep.
leader?
Rebecca.
Well, the girls all got stuck with being the team leaders, huh? I
Yes,
thought
sir.
I thought girls were supposed to be smarter than guys. You guys suckered them into it. Let's see. We don't have. Got that. Hi, Jenny B.
Hi.
Long time no see.
Just a couple hours.
Yeah, Jenny B's helping me do this Zoom thing so I don't make too many mistakes. Yeah. Well, let's see. Hello, Diana.
Hello.
You guys all know what your team mascot means? The team name? You don't? Aiden,
I don't think I do.
let's see. Where are you here? Oh, you are Hermes. He's the Greek god of the messenger. In Rome, they called him Mercury.
Okay.
That's it, the speed and consistency. So anybody else not know their team name? Justin, who are you? Let's see, you are.
Team Aries, God of War.
Yes, Ares, the god of war. Yeah. And what's Chase?
Let's figure that out. I don't know what one I'm in.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go on my list? What's your name? Oh, you're.
I went
Hestia.
incognito.
Oh, yeah. Or you can get cognito now. So what's Hestia?
Good question. I don't know.
Anybody know? That's always a bonus question in Greek mythology. She was the goddess of hearth and home, the goddess of stability in the world.
Huh.
Not a bad one to have. And who else doesn't know? Brenly. And where's Brenly?
She's in Team Athena.
Brenly's Athena. And you know who she is?
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
You know who the goddess Athena was?
I've heard of her.
She was the goddess of wisdom and light.
Oh.
And she was born out of Zeus's head. That's why you see people, particularly in those cultures, they go, let me think. Oh yeah, I got it. That's where it came from. This is all the stuff you did not want to know. So Hera, everybody know who Hera was? Zeus's wife. She was the one that upset the whole world because she was always interfering. So we got, Apollo. Where's our Apollo group? Who's from Apollo? I don't see them. Everybody's coming on. Eileen's from here now. Sarah. Who's from Apollo? Do we have Tyler or Cole or April or Peyton and Jonathan? Oh, we're missing that group. Okay. Well, I guess we're supposed to get started, so let's do it.
Hey, can you enable recording for our end? Some of us, like our team leaders at work, and there's a recording option for Zoom, but it says it has to be enabled by the host.
Oh, well, it's being automatically recorded anyway.
Okay, so
It
how?
says it up on the top that it's recording.
Okay, so we can so Courtney can access it later.
Well, yeah, well, we're gonna post but Jenny B, Jenny B
Yes.
is my
Yes.
alternative. She's my left hand or right hand person to know how to do all this stuff.
So
So,
I can't record it either. So, but it is being recorded. I checked. So it's recording on your computer. So you will be able to upload it.
and so I'll just upload it someplace where everybody can find it. All right. That'll be good. We got Milton's in now. Team captain of Hermes. Okay, and getting everybody here. Brett. Oh, Brett, you're in Hestia too, aren't you? Okay, I thought we want to start off with a couple housekeeping things and get questions answered and figure out things and make sure it's all progressing. And I'm going to let Jenny B take over. We've gone over the agenda, and so she's going to bring up some things. And if there are questions, please ask them as we go. Don't hold back. Jenny B, what are we talking about first?
Okay, so we just wanted to talk a little bit about Zoom. So when you hop on, if you guys all want to make sure you mute yourselves, because in that way the person that's talking, we won't get background distractions. And then if you want to say anything, all you have to do is press the space bar button on your computer and hold it while you're talking, and as soon as you release it, then it mutes you again. So that's kind of just a really good way to do Zoom meetings when you're with a lot of people. So that's it about Zoom, pretty much. Did you want to go over the files, where to find the book?
Yeah, let's do that right now.
It was really hard to find the PDF, and I don't know if any of you guys have downloaded it yet. So we went into files and created a separate folder for the book and any quizzes or review questions. And we put it in that folder, so anything pertaining to the book is easily found right there.
It's showing up, right?
Yeah, it is.
So let's open that file and let me show you what we have in it. Okay, come on. Well, it doesn't like it. All right, what did I do wrong?
It's just the internet. It is there because I went on later after we were done, and they were
Okay.
all inside that folder. So
Yeah, the thing that's in there is it's first of all, Marketing Singers, the book. So you have the whole PDF there, complete. But it also is the study guide. So I've decided not to do any more quizzes, and I may have to see if I left any quizzes in there other than the one I wanted, which was no, I don't. Anyway, can you all see that? I've put some quizzes in there, and then there's one study guide and another study guide. This one, the bottom one, is the most comprehensive one for you to go to. And so as you're reading the book, it follows along, and you can make sure your reading comprehension is there, and so you can see what you need to do. So there's some good resources for you. And then what you're doing is you're going to be turning around and writing reports about what you're reading. And I think that's better than doing quizzes, because while you're writing the report, it's helping you to remember it. And then I can also see what you're thinking about and perceiving, and then we can go from there. Let me go as well now into the overall marketing files, the files you have here. There's a whole lot of stuff in here that is optional, but for example, radio signals is a story about some radio ads that have worked well. And I have a presentation on advertising basics. You can flip through there. This advertising scoring chart, I'm going to be explaining more of that probably next week. But it's a way that you can examine an advertisement and kind of give it a ranking on what its chances of success are. And that'll kind of come out of our discussion today. The Afghan ones are, when we get into promotions, are there. I'm going to be talking somewhat about great influences on advertising and marketing from influences you don't normally think about. And one of them is The Art of War. Y'all heard of that? By Sun Tzu. And I went through it and edited it. It's all in English, but I took out all the parts that were strictly, the Sun Tzu was telling the emperor how to win battles, and he even told them how to, tie their knots and how to create armors and armories and weaponry and such things as that. I took all that out, and the rest of what remains is how war has a great correlation to advertising and other business. For example, one of the things that he talks about is all battles are won or lost before the first soldier sets foot on the field. Well, that just goes to show the power of information. Now, you guys were creating an ad, and of course, one of the things I mentioned is you want to be able to know who you're selling to. Well, that's part of that information. You've got to know what's the boots on the ground, what they're going to be doing, the people that are buying, who will actually do it. So some of that's in there. When we get into some letter writing, Gary Halbert's letters are classics. Here's some of my radio commercials that did very well. Some other kinds of PowerPoints describing things. We get into PR and advertising, a whole PowerPoint just on public relations. I have here sometime, you're going to want to listen. I may actually tell you for one of our discussions to listen to it. This is a conversation I had that I recorded with the sales manager from Murdoch Toyota or Murdoch Chevrolet. I don't remember which one it was. And it was a follow-up call, and it's quite astounding. I think it's worth listening to find out pretty much what not to do when you're calling up a customer and talking to them. This is the social media hierarchy. You've probably seen it before. I put it in here anyway about how to move up the hierarchy in social media and what you should be doing. And here's some other flyers that were there. So those are supplemental materials for you to be looking at. Any questions on those? Okay, I think it's self-explanatory. Okay, Jenny B, what's next?
Mark.
You
Yes,
mentioned that.
Somebody had a question.
I just have a quick question. And you guys are probably going to touch on it a little bit later, but how do we know who's been assigned to the other groups? Like who's already in a group, so that when I do try to reach out to set up another group, like who should I reach out to, or who's already in a group?
Good question. Good question. As I understand it, and that's kind of one of the purposes of this first meeting and the next one, you can see each other, you can hear each other, and you can kind of decide who might be simpatico with you, and however you want to do it. But as I understand it, you have access to everybody's email address. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do.
And if you, it's a little hard sometimes, it's all UVU numbers, but I will make available on files the list of everybody and their name and their UVU email address. And that, I'm hoping that will help you, Brett. Is it Brett that was talking?
Yeah, that helps out.
Okay.
That works.
But if you have trouble on any of that kind of stuff, the word of the day is email me. I'll get back to you as fast as I can. this last week has been a little strange with all the adjustments I'm having to make. You guys have already figured all this out. So any other questions?
Thanks.
Thank you for your comment, your question, Brett. Okay, back to Jenny B. What else do we have?
Well, just to comment on Brett's question, you can also create a discussion. So people, if you have a certain topic you want to talk about, you can create a discussion and ask if anybody's interested in that topic. And so that way you're doing kind of where your interests are. But the last thing we had on our list was that you wanted to talk about the letters with the ad campaign or the ads,
Oh,
the letter part.
yeah. I as a writer and a communicator, sometimes I don't communicate very well, or I think I'm communicating, and then I find out it was Greek to you guys. Let me explain to you the writing process, writing advertising. Now that we're going to get into more of this detail, but I wanted to jump into this whole discussion of advertising feet first by having you do a campaign so I know what you know and know what you don't know, and then we can work on that. One of the things I've been around, I spent dozens of years around the world's best copywriters. We trade copy, we discuss it, we argue, we get together in meetings, and you know, it's always who's the best copywriter and all that kind of fun stuff. But one thing we have in common is we've discovered that there's a way to write copy and a way not to write copy, advertising copy. And the typical way that people write advertising copy is they think up a graphic and then write copy to support the graphic. And that's backwards, completely backwards. None of them do that. In fact, they all rail against it. What we've found that we all do is the first thing we do is we think about, contemplate who our audience is. Who is the customer who's going to pay money for this product or service? And then it's really good if you know somebody like that. For example, for the cruise business, what have you pretty well found is the archetype, the typical cruise person who you would be selling to? Tell me something about them.
They're 55 and older-ish.
Yeah, typical. Why 55 and older?
Because that's the age demographic that the client is reaching for.
Got it, but you're begging the question. The question
Generally,
is,
the age 55 and older, they already have an established income. They're more stable economically, so they're going to be able to afford these trips, and they kind of want to get out. Also, they're not likely to have children, which is definitely not what this is really going for, anyways.
yeah. And there's one more thing that goes partly what you're talking about, Josh. By the way, is it Josh or Joshua, or do you care?
I don't care.
Okay, Josh. They have the time. You're kind of indicating that. A lot of them most of them are retired. So they got the money, they got the time, they got the health. Otherwise, you know, well, actually, I've taken people on cruises that were in wheelchairs. So, but yeah, you get the idea. That's your demographic. So if you're going to write an ad to those people, do you know anybody that fits that demographic? By the way, there's two words we use when we're describing customers. One is demographics, and you all know what those are, right? Anybody unsure about what demographics are? Again, this is one of those times you got to be brutally honest with yourself. You don't know, you say, so you can learn it. But the second thing is something called psychographics. Psychographics was developed by a company out of Boston that we began using. And in the course of this is back in the late 1970s, early 1980s. And when I was back there, they started talking about it. It was the first time I had ever heard of it. And it was really nobody else was using it. So psychographics are fairly recent. It's how people think. It's personalities. It's ways people think. What would be a psychographic? And Josh, you kind of came towards it. Psychographic of the people who we're selling these cruises to.
At this point, they probably want adventures. They probably want to get away from home. Like you said, they're retired. They've probably been home a lot. Or they've experienced some other adventures and they want a new one. They've done all the other ones. This is something
the key is what you said. These people want an adventure. Well, they want an adventure. Why would we put that up there? Is taking a cruise to Hawaii an adventure? On the scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 1. Where does Russia fit as an adventure?
10.
Potentially a 10.
Yeah, I mean, in the way people would think, they're going to look at it and go, "Oh, wow, Russia, that's exotic, that's different. Can we be safe?" All the rest of it. So that's part of the psychographics. So let's go back to my question. Do you know of somebody who fits that?
My grandparents, I would assume.
Okay, tell me their names.
Brent
First
and
names.
Janet.
What?
Brent and Janet.
Okay. Brent and Janet are Chase's archetype that he's going to be thinking of. So he's going to sit down at his computer, or he's going to have a pad of paper and go someplace and write. And he's going to picture Brent and Jana, and he's going to write their name down and say, "Brent and Jana, I have got something for you. Let me tell you about an adventure that you're going to love." And then you start writing every single thing, because this is assuming you've done all the research. Okay, you've exhausted the research. You're ready to write the ad. So you write to them and you just let it flow. You don't edit yourself. You don't stop to see if you spelled that right. You don't care about any of that kind of stuff. You just let it flow. How long should it be?
Doesn't matter until you've hit the
Until
target.
you're finished. Until you said every possible thing that could convince them to go on this trip with you. And you've said everything. Now, what are you going to do if you only have a quarter-page ad? That's all the space you have. You can't fit 2 pages. I mean, sometimes I've been 2 and 3 pages long in my letter. So what do? We haven't heard from Justin yet.
You reduce it just to the most critical part, the most compelling part.
Ah, there's the word. There's the word. What are the most compelling what? Benefits, not features, benefits. You remember, we never sell the steak. What do we sell? The sizzle. Always sell the sizzle, never the steak. The benefits. What gets people going, gets them excited? Is selling an emotional transaction or an intellectual transaction?
Emotional?
Yeah. People buy through the emotions. Don't forget that. People buy through the emotions. What does the intellect have to do with it? It's called reconfirming the buying decision. Got that? Understand what I mean by it? In the book, you're going to read about my adventure with the 35th anniversary Corvette that I went in for, not knowing I wanted to buy a car, but when I saw that 35th anniversary Corvette, perfect white, massive tires, black trim, tuxedo interior, fantastic. And I got in it and I drove it, just sound, all that kind of stuff. Did they tell me about the RPMs and the horsepower and the kind of material it was made of, all the intellectual stuff? No. What'd they tell me?
Gonna change your life.
Yeah. Just think what's going to happen when you drive up to your work in this car. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'm excited. And they're telling me how much my wife will love going on trips with me as we go through the mountain in this, and all the things, and how, just everything emotional buying. I knew I wanted it, and I bought it. And then I thought, oh crap, how am I going to tell Liz? She's going to say, you're nuts. Well, then I begin to say, well, what's the fuel economy? And that wasn't a convincer. But tell me about the fiberglass body, the cost of repairing it. How long will these things last? How much will the resale value? How will it hold its value? And all the intellectual stuff reconfirmed what I already wanted to do. And then when I went home, I said, but Liz, look at all this, this, and this. She just looked at me and went, yeah. But that was a beautiful car. Yeah. But you get the idea? So what you're wanting to do is sell the sizzle, and you're wanting to go after these customers for an adventure, and how you're going to let them picture themselves experiencing an adventure of a lifetime. So that makes sense to you? Am I talking the right talk? By the way, if all of you who have turned off your videos, I'd sure love if you turn it on so I could see who you are. I hate talking into a vacuum. So I'd much rather be in a classroom debating stuff, more fun. So as you're writing this letter, you are not worried about the size and where you're going to use this information. This is your final gathering place. And then you're going to take the best stuff, and then you're going to illustrate it. You notice what the last thing is? You get the words out there that you know have to be sold, and then you look at the space that's left over and saying, is there an image I can put in here? What is the purpose of the image?
To entice.
Entice you to do what?
To do the thing or buy the thing.
Actually, no. I'm going to go back.
Look at
Yes.
the thing.
What?
Would the image draw your eyes to a certain word or a certain phrase?
Yeah. See, that's Rebecca. You got the right. By the way, you go by Rebecca or Becky or what?
Any of them work. I honestly answer to "Hey you," so.
Well, I have a daughter, Rebecca, and we call her Beck the Wreck. So, well, we won't call you that. She's just Becca. But Becca, you got the right idea. It entices you, but what entices you do is to look, and you want to capture their interest, draws attention. Remember that. Your purpose of your graphics is to draw attention to what you're doing. And what's the first thing, I think it was Brett, you mentioned about to certain words. What are the most important words to draw attention to?
What the main points are, I guess, or what
do we call the main points, or it's a headline.
Yeah, your headline.
Right? So here we got the picture that draws attention to the headline. What's the purpose of the headline?
To sell the idea, or to sell.
You probably don't have that much. Your headline probably is not going to be that long.
All right, so your headline's the hook then.
The hook, and what's it trying to get you to do?
to continue to read or to continue to.
Yep. Continue to read. So the purpose of a headline is to get you to read the first sentence.
So we're talking about building clickbait.
Well, that's what you do in every advertisement. Yeah.
Rebecca knows what I'm talking about. She's laughing because she knows.
No, I got the idea. But what you're doing when you're writing, you're saying my headline is here. I want to get you to read the first sentence. Then I want you to read the next sentence. The reason that's important is because you look at a lot of advertisements and you may see a headline, but then your eyes are drawn down below to this line, and then your eyes are up here doing this, and you're all over the place and you're lost. And as advertisers, you want to get them where you want them to be and get them to move the way you want them to move. Now, that's the most important statement, rather than what I said. You know, you may want their eyes to move from here to here to here. That's okay. But it has to be the way you want them to, that they are following the way you want them to. That makes sense? So going back, Jenny B, long way of saying it, is the reason that whole letter, who you're writing it to, is to Aunt Edna and Uncle Fred, or whoever else is your archetype. You're writing them, and it's the beginning of the whole writing process. Does that make sense? Then am I communicating is the question. Okay. All right. So we answered those 4 things of housekeeping. Took a while. Sorry. Anything else, Jenny B, that we had?
Nope, that was it on my list.
Okay. Now it comes to you guys. What do you want to talk about the rest? You've got your advertisement due tomorrow. What questions do you have about your advertisement? Do you want to show it right now? Anything? Or do you want to keep it secret from anybody else stealing your ideas? Which I understand. So,
I do have a,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. I do have a quick question about submitting. So on the paper, it says that everybody's supposed to submit the advertisement. Is everybody supposed to submit the video as well?
well, for example, if all you're doing is submitting a like a quarter-page ad or a full-page ad or something like that, or a letter, whatever else that you can just submit on Canvas, I'm really pragmatic. Whatever is going to work the best. It might be, I think it would probably be good, and I'm not sure how you do this in our fragmented state that we're in, is how you would get together and do a video. I don't know how you do that.
So our group is just having the spokesperson do the video and just submit it.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work. That's what the spokesperson's for. By the way, that doesn't have to be the team leader. Okay. And I really want to throw it back to you. You know, I put out there the video or whatever else. I want you to come up with the best way you think it would be to submit this to myself and Eric to have him see it. Your best foot forward. Rebecca, I mean, you brought that up. Does that help?
Yes, it does. We just wanted to make sure that not everybody had to and just one person could do it so that it wouldn't mix everybody else up when submitting.
Yeah. I've got to find one more thing on Canvas where we can do teams on Canvas. So when you submit it as a team, it counts for everybody.
That would be nice.
I'm
Can
learning
we
how
just
to
have
do
our
that.
team leader submit it and then you go through the groups that you did, or do we still all have to submit it?
That kind of.
Well, what I want you to, you got 5 people, and so I get first person, and then I have to somehow go back and find out where I put all the other 4 people's names, and so when it comes up on the grader, so it would be good if you simply, well, it would be good if everybody could submit it themselves, unless it's a video, and then when you on Canvas, maybe you submit to me a note.
So when you submit something, you can include a note on the submission. So whoever the submitter is could type in the names of the members of the team. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
say,
absolutely.
for example, Jenny submitted ours, and she could type in mine and Brenly's and Anna's and Courtney's names as well. So that way you knew who was in our group.
That's at the very least, please do that. Yeah. And that often works. I'm always amazed when I get papers with no names on them. So, okay, does that answer the submission? Okay, tell me other things if you want to show anything or talk about anything, I'm here for you.
I was just going to ask, so my group was thinking of doing like a postcard, but we saw in the instructions to include a letter as well. Would it be acceptable if we just did our postcard and the letter, like kind of combined?
Okay, get the letter out of your mind. The letter is simply the vehicle on how you start the whole process. I don't even want to see it. That's how, it's kind of like an artist taking various things and treating a canvas and preparing it and getting all the pre-stuff done and outlining it, everything else. That's what that letter is for. And that's what I caused a massive confusion on, apparently.
Yeah, sorry, I joined late. You may have already addressed that. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Not a problem. By the way, I gotta tell you, 2 of my things I like to work on with students during a semester, and I noticed most everybody does it, is they're constantly apologizing. And the word "I'm sorry" becomes almost habitual. And I say, leave it alone. Just get to the point. Go for it. And the second thing is never start off in writing or in verbally. In my opinion, I feel that you're the one speaking, so we know it's your opinion. And feelings, that's no. So just talk to me directly. There's a great statement by one of J.R.R. Tolkien's buddies at the University in Oxford. He wrote Charlotte's Web, E.B. White, and Tolkien. He said, it is worse to be irresolute than to be wrong. And if you don't know what the word irresolute means, it means wishy-washy and patting the ground and trying it. Even if you're wrong, so what? We just get on with it, okay? We're not worried about failure here. We're gonna overcome it all. Okay, other questions you have?
What does attendance look like for these meetings? Like if we're unable to make it, what do we do? Stuff like that.
I'm going to be grading you primarily on how good of a job you do in creating advertisements and in creating PR stuff, particularly press releases, and create a promotional deal, a marketing plan. So everything I'm talking about is very pragmatic. We're in a weird time, and you guys are all doing a great job taking out the burden on your shoulders. And I'm not grading attendance if what we're talking about, you don't think it's going to be of value to you. or as several, they had doctor's appointments, they had other kinds of things going on. We recorded it. You can go back and watch it. Great. We're just going to do it. And frankly, if we have 3 people show up every week, I'm going to do it for them. And if the others are watching it, that's fine. I think it'd be a shame because I really think you guys often learn more from each other than from me. And so when you each other are I mean, you know, Rebecca and Hayden and Josh and Jenny B, all of you have said really good things. Brett, sorry if I didn't include you, but all good things. And you ought to be listening to each other. And the thing in advertising is you got to be a disciple of human nature. And what better place than here? You got to know how people are thinking and reacting. And that's why it's good to have a group like this so you can hear each other. That answer your question, Trevor? Okay. Okay, well, I do not hold meetings longer than necessary. And if you don't have any questions or you don't want to show me anything or you're worried about your advertisement, we can end the meeting.
One more question for you. We have a quiz and study marketing singers coming up on the 22nd. Will that be 2 assignments? One will be writing a page description on the chapters, and then one will be a quiz. Is that correct?
I'm going to eliminate all the quizzes. Okay.
So just the chapter, like synopsis of what we'll be writing.
Yeah, the most important thing for me is for you to go through. I mean, I'm giving you the quiz. If we had a quiz, and we'll have a midterm just to be there. I'm already giving you all the questions. So as you're reading through it, you can answer all those questions. And my quizzes are all open. I mean, my midterms and everything are open book. So take your notes. And they're timed. So if you know the material, you'll get through it. If you don't know the material, you just won't finish the test, and that hurts worse. So that's all it is.
Okay, so they're optional to take if we want to, or are you just taking them out completely? Like we can't take them?
I never thought of it that way. I was going to delete them, but
Extra
you know what?
credit.
What?
Extra credit.
Oh, extra credit. Oh, you know what? Extra credit is simply how bright you've become. So that's all that matters. I'm going to delete them because otherwise they show up on the scoring sheet, and I have this little reminder that says you haven't graded them. You haven't graded them. You haven't graded them. Shut up. Oh, I'm going to delete them. So,
okay, sounds great. So it'll just be the synopsises and then the midterms.
That's what I want. And the projects. Okay.
Okay, sounds great.
I think as I mentioned last time, I've noticed a lot of different courses on advertising. They spend a lot of time studying the advertising industry, and I really don't care. Advertising industry, I'll give you great books to read if you want. Doesn't matter. I care that you can put together a great a killer ad. That's what I care. And you can. And the other thing of it is what I'm teaching you will do you some good in the Fortune 500 company. But they have some different rules, and I'll show you what they are. My primary thing is small business. How will you as an operator in a small business, most of you are going to go to work in a smaller business, and there are things they have to have. And that's what I'm going to show you, and you're going to be proficient at it, I guarantee you, by the end of the semester, so that you can make money at advertising. There's an idea. So I'm not into awareness. So, any other comments, questions? All right. Well, then we'll end the meeting, and I may end up asking you to join a Zoom meeting, see if you can with your team, with Eric's, and we'll do it just with your team. So may do some individual team meetings, team Zoom meetings, and at a time that you can do it, and we'll accommodate. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great week and enjoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Thanks.